don't think about where you're gonna be. Fall in love with the process. Fall in love with the journey. Be patient. You're going to get where you want to get.
If you cared about succeeding as much as you care to breathe, everybody would succeed.
What is up, guys? Welcome to the Focus Podcast. My name is Luis Perez.
And my name is Jacob Rodriguez.
Ladies and gentlemen, we talk about business, motivation, and mindset. Every single Mondays, catch us for the Focus Podcast. Today,
Episode number 13.
This is episode number 13.
Time flies.
Time does fly.
Time really flies. We were just talking about this right now, Luis and I. It's like, dude, I swear I felt like we just started our first podcast like 2 weeks ago, and it's already week 13.
Yeah, and this is the topic today. It kind of the topic we got photobombed here.
Yeah.
We're in the restaurant, guys, so we're filming in the restaurant. So there's always going to be a little bit of stuff going on in the background, but it kind of shows you guys that we're grinding as we're grinding. So
it's real as it can be.
This is real, guys. But today we're going to be talking about failing is the only option.
Yes, sir.
And a lot of people are scared to fail. And you have to realize, or you have to get used to the fact that in order to get good at anything, or in order to succeed at anything, you need to fail. And if you're not failing,
you're never going to succeed.
There's a problem. You need to fail. Like, part of life is failing. How else are you going to learn? Right?
Yeah, I think every successful entrepreneur fails in some sort of way. Maybe you might not fail a specific way that you think. Maybe he might not file for bankruptcy, and many people classify that as a failure. But there's also many entrepreneurs that fail in so many other different ways. They fail by having the wrong team. They fail by not meeting the quota. They fail by getting hate. There's so many ways you get to fail, but you're going to fail. That's part of life. You're going to not always win. And people like us, we want to always succeed. We always want to have profit numbers. You always want to be in the green, but you have to accept that sometimes you're going to be in the red, and that's just part of life. And how do you come up from that? Dude,
honestly, I look forward to failure because I always know on the other side I'm going to get better.
Yeah.
And bro, I've learned the hard way in life. So everything that the man that I am today is because of failure. It's because of the mistakes that I made in the past.
I look forward to quick failure. So a failure that goes quick, but I can surpass it quickly.
So you're thinking, boom, why did I fail? Boom, right to the. So number one, I wanted to talk about the little bit first topic that I want to talk about is the psychology behind failure, right? And I have something written down here. So researchers show that our brains are programmed to learn from our mistakes. When we experience failure, it can actually activate our brain's reward system, motivating us to adapt and improve. So it's
you want to compare it? I think that's a great quote. It's very true. It's not a quote. It's a statistic.
Yeah, it's an actual research. This is a 100% fact.
Yeah, right? And I mean, you can compare it to like the gym. Even you fail a PR, what do? You want to hit that PR.
Exactly.
It kind of forces you to to motivate you even to succeed more in another way.
Bro, did you mention the PR? I would get angry because I didn't get the PR. So throughout that week, I would be bulking up, training because next week I'm getting that PR. Trust me that I'm getting that PR. Somehow.
I swear that's a trend. No, but even then, I swear that's how it happens. So, you go through the embarrassment of failing, which no one wants to go through, and your mind kind of switches a switch of okay, what do I do to succeed from this? What do I do to learn from this failure so I can do it better the next time? Maybe it was maybe you failed that PR because it was the technique that you used. Maybe you didn't arch your back enough on a bench press. Maybe you didn't, I don't know, some BS like that. You didn't arch your back, and so that's why you didn't have the right technique to, bench that PR. And so same thing goes with business. Business is the same exact thing. You fail, and you go through embarrassment. Everybody looks at you, and everybody's like, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. This guy doesn't know. I don't know if this is the right guy to trust. But as long as you can prove them wrong, and it actually motivates you to prove them wrong once you learn from that failure, it makes it easier to adapt to succeeding as well in the future.
Yeah, guys, don't be scared to fail. Fail and I've actually heard from a couple people that have mentioned failure that it motivates them, and I can relate. Failure motivates me, especially when for example, you're working on a business or you're starting your focus podcast, and you don't see anybody watching your podcast. You don't see the likes, you don't see that activity like you want it to, but it's wanting you to continue moving forward because you know that you're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. We're gonna make this happen, and we're gonna be like, yo, I know we had those doubts and we were failing in a couple things, but we kept strong. We kept pushing forward, and boom, look at us. We learned and we got stronger, and
This is
we're
14 weeks strong. You know, we've had one video that did super well. And, you know, you think like, oh, what, only one video? That's super underwhelming. Yeah. But, I mean, you have to work with what you got. I think Luis and I, we've been really putting a lot of effort towards, you know, what we could get clips from, you know, what people like to watch, what, you know, comparing ourselves to other people and learning from people's success and also people's failures to not commit those same mistakes. And so, you know, it was super rewarding to get that video, that 110,000 views or something like that, and like almost 10,000 likes, which was super rewarding for us. But we had to go through at least 35 videos before that video actually even happened.
Exactly.
And even then, right now, we still haven't. We've had like 20 videos that nothing has gone viral. But, you know, eventually it will go viral. And actually, I'm happy to announce today that Luis, he has been working on the job for like 6 weeks on the social media. And he had his first viral video for the Instagram right now. Yeah. Yesterday it was at like 20K views, and today it hit 180 so far. So maybe it might hit 200 by the end of this podcast. You never know. Yeah.
And I feel like my prediction is gonna get over 3 million.
He said 4 million. He just went down. He just went down. Stop lying. Stop lying. He said over 4 million.
It's gonna get over 4 million. Okay.
The way this video is blowing up is actually ridiculous because last video, I remember it took so much time for it actually to start blowing up, and this one's actually quicker. And last video that went viral with 3.5 million views. So maybe this one actually might go more viral than the last one because this one is blowing up much quicker than that other video. Because the other video didn't blow up till a month later, and this one blew up like a week after. And so I think a lot of people are reposting it right now, and so that's going to help the algorithm a lot.
Guys, the reason I'm so confident that it's going to surpass 4 million views is because I used to have a fitness page. Man, we didn't even introduce ourselves, what we do. But I used to have a fitness page, and I posted on that fitness page for 2 years, so I know what type of content. Well, I know what type of content. I know how the content is gonna escalate. So I see it. Like I know how far this video is gonna be. Like that last video that we hit 100,000 views.
Yeah.
For
you knew right away. Yeah.
Yeah. One of the words, I'm like, yo, Jacob, this is gonna get 100,000 views. And you're like, oh, you sure? You sure it's gonna get it? I'm like, dude, this is for sure gonna get 100,000 views.
And he was saying that when it had like 5,000 views. Yeah. And I'm just like, dude, you're really reaching high. And I'm like, damn, it literally got like 110,000 views. I'm like, that's
dude,
crazy.
I know how this works. And this video, the way that it's going, dude, it's gonna get a couple million views. Watch.
That's fire. And at the end of the day, you know, that brings so much business into the restaurant. The more people see your business, the more it benefits you. And so, you know, having that viral video, it's going to generate more sales for my company. And, you know, all that money that's getting paid to marketing and all that, it's going to eventually pay off. And that it will pay off when it comes to sales. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, the thing I love about being a young entrepreneur and, you know, the president of the company of 8 restaurants is that I bring this new perspective to the company. You know, I was reading an article that said that, you know, as you guys know, President-elect Donald Trump, he just won the election. He would have never won the election without his son, because his son was the one pushing him to get on TikTok. His son was the one pushing him to do podcasts with a young crowd. Either whether you like him or not, you see how successful that campaign was and how he really came back from being like someone that everybody hated to someone everybody wanted to vote for. And so he won the popular vote. You might not like him or not, or like him, it doesn't matter, but you got to see the facts. And so, you know, that getting involved with the young crowd and getting involved with everybody that's really on social media 24/7 really helps you generate more sales, and eventually it makes you successful. Yeah. And so it's funny, I was just talking to Luis about this. It's like there's this guy based out of New York. He sells paletas, which is like popsicles, Mexican popsicles. And he had this one mega viral video. It had like 35 million views. And dude, his page grew from like a couple thousand to like 60 something thousand followers, bro.
That's the beauty.
And you already know, I think this year he already opened up like 3 shops. And so I know that one video definitely helped
Yeah.
him generate so much revenue to
No,
be
of
able
course,
to blow
because
up.
people look at it, they're like, "Yo, let's go to this place that
Yeah.
look, go right here."
And then
this
people start
famous place."
traveling. People start traveling
Yeah.
to your restaurant. So we have like some people that we know of and stuff like that in North Carolina. And so not too long ago, they traveled from North Carolina all the way to Connecticut or to New York, and then drove down to
Yeah.
Connecticut just to come visit our restaurant in Stanford. So just to believe that was a 3-hour flight, 2-hour flight, and they came just to come to Stanford and try out the food. So that's how you know you're doing things well, and that's just the baseline. There's so much room to grow, and there's so much room to improve it anyways on that. And we're trying to do that for our own pages as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Focus page, my personal page as well. I know Luis is going to try to get into his own personal page as well, and get more involved with that, with your like company Instagram page. I know you're interested on that. and growing it as
Every now
well.
and then I'll post something on it, but not too crazy.
You're more locked in.
Yeah,
You're
it's more like
locked
I'm
in.
treating that more as a resume, if anything.
Yeah.
Before we hop back into the failure, I wanted to mention, because you were talking about the Donald Trump skit,
Yeah.
right? I respect the fact that they trusted him enough to take his advice, and it worked, right? And I kind of, that's like watching you and your dad, right?
Yeah.
Bro, if it wasn't like your dad trusts your advice, if it wasn't for that, he wouldn't be able to do a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, who would hire, like, you knew me before, like, I was bartending in this location and everything, and we kind of talked, and you knew
What
what
you
I
did,
would
yeah.
a little bit, but you could believe in me all day if you want, but if your dad didn't believe in you,
No, it would have never
it
happened.
wouldn't have never happened.
And
Exactly.
so, it gets you a lot of respect. Your successes get you a lot of respect. And so, people they're not going to remember your failures as much as they're going to remember your success. So it's like, okay, if you work with your family and you're in a family-owned company, you kind of learn to prove yourself. So you have to prove yourself. So it's like, okay, I saw Luis, I saw his talent, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to reach out and I'm going to start small. So I had Luis do one video for the tequila dinner. And, we fell in love with the quality. We fell in love with everything from the start, that I knew eventually I was going to ask Luis to start doing all my videos. And, it started from once a month with the tequila dinners, and then eventually started going to, more videos, and then until I put him on salary and hired him here for the company. And so, the thing is about that is Luis also proved himself as well. There's definitely some videos I told Luis, I'm like, dude, I'm not the biggest fan of that video.
Yeah.
But, he improves from those videos
course.
and makes bangers. And, those videos are the ones that go viral. Those are the ones that people reach out. I've had so many people reach out to me, even from the age group of 70 years old. And like, wow, your social media. I see your social media, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, dude, I met with my lawyer and my accountant the other day. These guys are 70 years old. And they're like, oh, I see you guys on social media, blah, blah, blah. It's like, I don't even follow you guys, and I saw your social media. I'm like, see? That's how you know it's going well.
Yeah,
because if you're
pushing
getting
it.
everybody, you're getting different demographics, you're getting
Yeah.
younger people, you're getting older people. We have other entrepreneurs commenting under our videos,
Sharing
saying,
the
oh, this is
videos.
super relatable. Oh, this is so funny, blah, blah, blah. Because they live in this industry, and you have to make videos that are relatable as well.
Yeah.
Because if you speak from another standpoint that's not relatable, no one's gonna understand it.
Since to get back on topic and
Yeah.
to kind of like follow that, examples of times that we failed. And for me would be like some of the videos that don't do good, but I'm not scared to post videos. I'm not overthinking to the point where like, oh, this video might do good and might not do good. I throw whatever I can
out there.
and then I'll see from that. Like you said earlier, I don't like those videos, but I threw it out there to see if it works.
Yeah.
Because I know there's some videos that they don't look very good or anything, but that's part of it. You fail, you learn from that video, you take a different approach, and you make them better, and boom, you get other videos that work.
But you see, Luis wasn't scared of that failure, and that's what happens with 99% of everybody out there.
everyone's
Is they are scared of
Yeah.
failing, and you have to understand that you're going to fail. And that's happened to us in the business. We 20 years ago had a business in West Hartford, Connecticut, and it was a prime location. We bought the property, everything like that, and business was popping off. It was great, but then after 5 years, there were some issues between management inside the restaurant. So what happened? We eventually sold off that property and that restaurant.
Because of the management?
Yeah, because of the
Really?
management and the ownership. So it's like, there was issues with that translating us to us failing. And right there and then we could have been like, you know what, we're not gonna open up any more restaurants anymore because of that failure. But what did we do? We opened up more restaurants, and thank God now we have 8 restaurants all over the state
You
of
learn from
Connecticut.
that. You're like, I'm gonna make sure this doesn't happen again.
Exactly. And same thing with even when I was in the business, when I started, we probably had $7-8 million in debt because opening up a new restaurant, we had debt with other vendors and stuff like that. And I'm happy to announce we have literally zero debt right now. We're not
Whoa.
we're up to date with vendors.
Really?
It's just because you have to learn how to manage your assets
Yeah.
and you have to learn how to manage everything.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, what did we used to not do before? We used to have 400 hours in overtime in every single restaurant. Just think about that's every month,
This is
400
business
hours
talk.
of overtime.
This is business talk.
If you know business talk, you will understand
Yeah.
this. But 400 hours of overtime every single month per location. So imagine 8 locations with 400 hours of overtime. I limited that to literally 10 hours of overtime a month maximum. And then I also started controlling when it came to liquor. I started doing orders myself. I started placing all the orders myself. And then I also started doing the recipes for the drinks. So I measured all the drinks, measured the lime juice, I measured the acidic, I measured the flavor, I measured the liquor that goes inside, and all that adds up. And then you translate that to 8 restaurants, and boom, you start making money.
There we go. Yeah.
And then you have to, live a little frugally. You have to, stop spending here. You still have to stop spending here. And you don't get to live that luxury lifestyle that you'd like, but it's temporary until you actually get out of the hole and then, make it out. And so that's something great that you have to make. And when I started, I was in a business that was unprofitable and I made it profitable. And, that's something that not many people can do, but you have to have the mindset of, it's going to be tough, but I'm going to get through it. And I didn't pay myself for some time. And so, it sucks not getting a paycheck every 2 weeks or every month. But that's part of the sacrifices of business. And, nobody wants to work 70, 80 hours a week, but you have to get through that to, eventually make it out. And so
Yeah.
that's what kind of separates the warriors from the weak people.
Yep.
And if you want to be a business owner, you have to be a warrior and you have to be hard-headed to be.
You got to take a lot of sacrifices. You have to go through a lot of stuff that a lot of people are scared to take.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, we mentioned that you must fail. The failing is the only option, right? This is the title of the podcast. Failing is the only option. And before I even started videography, I did a bunch of stuff. I did trading. I did drop shipping. I did so many things. And I did videography. Videographer was there. But it was like, I don't want to do videography. I want to do this. And then I always focused on that, and then I would fail. And I'm like, damn it. I always went back to videography. Let me try drop shipping. I tried drop shipping. Damn it. Failed again. All right, let me do what I'm comfortable with. But failing will teach you what works. And then you'll start to realize that one thing you always come back to, if that's the case with you, is the thing that is going to work. Now, for me, videography, that's what made me money. Everything else was I wanted to do, but it wasn't making me money. But I knew it was going to make me money.
Eventually, yeah.
But I failed at all that, and I always went back to videography. I pursued videography, and it's what I had. It was for me. Videography was for me.
And that's where you ended up making the money at the end of the day.
So if it wasn't for those failures, I wouldn't have known that videography was the real thing for me. Because if I didn't take that chance and tested these things out, I wouldn't have known. How would I have known if, oh man, that could have been for me. I could have been a trader or I could have been a drop shipper. But since I tried it, I now know that, I'm not gonna say that I can't be that, because I know that whatever I put my mind to, I will. But in the moment, videography was what was making me money.
Yeah, believe it or not, actually, I was very timid too. I used to be very, very bad speaking publicly. And I used to be very nervous when I spoke to random people or people I didn't know. And so I've talked about this in prior podcasts as well. But the thing is like, I remember when I would hold meetings, I'd be super nervous. And I'd literally felt like I was shaking before a meeting, because, I was nervous to speak in front of all these people, especially because people are older than you. Like, oh, what does this young person have to do with it?
Yeah.
But these last 2 or 3 years is where I really built the courage to, I'm going to improve. I'm going to learn from each meeting and see what I can do better. And so you kind of learn to listen. You kind of learn to listen to people before you speak, and think about what you're going to say before you speak, so you don't sound stupid, you don't sound immature. And there's a lot of things you have to hold into yourself before you start saying things. And so that's like really important for me, is that I learned from that. And even before I was in the restaurant, I really was inspired to be a realtor. And
Oh,
I
really?
think that's a hobby I'm gonna do again in the future, is probably get my real estate license. But still, even then, like that's something that I failed at. But I kind of focused more on the restaurant side,
Yeah.
and I've succeeded very much in that. And not everybody could start from debt and then make money from it, but that's kind of like the obstacles you have to go through if you really want to survive. And it's like, I think I saw David Goggins say something like this. It was like, if you cared about succeeding as much as you care to breathe, everybody would succeed.
Oof.
And so what happens when you can't breathe, when you're drowning and you want to breathe? You force yourself to swim.
Yeah.
You force yourself to swim. So same thing with business, is that if you care about succeeding so much, you will find a way to succeed. And so I think that I really resonate with that, because it's I lived through it my whole life, and I lived through it in the business. And so I know eventually it's going to pay off. Eventually I'm going to be flying private. Eventually I'm going to have that G-Wagon, that R8. And I
Yeah.
tell Luis, like, we're going to be there together. We're
Dude,
going to get that.
the crazy part is, because this is going to be put out there. This is going to happen. Like, we're going to be on that private jet. We're going to have our Lambos. We're going to have the things. And if you have the same vision, don't think about the goal too much. Don't think about where you're going to be, because you will get to where you want to get. But fall in love with the journey. And I always hear that, fall in love with the journey, because once you experience all this, once you get to where you're going to want to be, it's done. You're not going to be able to experience all these little things, all these little headaches, all these failures that you're going to take to get to the top. That's why they say that most successful people, those people that are in the jet right now, that we're describing,
Or the
are
people
on
that
that,
failed the most.
but they're on that jet saying, damn, I wish I could go back to that time that I was going up in my business. So don't think about where you're going to be. Fall in love with the process. Fall in love with the journey. Be patient. You're going to get where you want to get. Fall in love with where you're at right now. And you're good, bro, because I know, bro, trust me, we're going to be sipping on some
Blue Label.
dude, on a private jet. We're going to be like, yo, remember that time? Like, we knew. We knew, bro.
This is going to happen eventually. And
Yeah.
so you have to live through each failure. You have to learn from each failure and enjoy the process, and you'll eventually get there. I think as young people, we get super impatient sometimes, because it's like, oh my God, I see all these people on social media. They're living the dream life, the life I wish I lived. But, it's like, what do they have to really go through before they got there? And so I think social media is very deceiving as well. People lie about what they do on social media all the time. But it's kind of like, what do they have to go through? The real people that succeeded, what do they have to go through to get to where they're at? And so that's why most successful people, that's why most millionaires are 40 years old, 50 years old. While we're going through this process when we're young, so we could be a millionaire by the time we're 25, or time we're 30,
Yeah.
And so we're kind of forwarding through that, because you know what? As long as you're working hard and you're working towards your goal, you're doing more than 99% of the people in your age group. Because what are they doing? They're partying, they're smoking, they're wasting their life, and that's something that you're not doing. And so that's why you're going to be more successful than most people.
And that's all it takes. Just work hard, just as long as you're doing that thing. And you know what? This is a message to Thomas. Thomas is our editor for all our reels and everything. I was having a quick conversation with him, and he's having a little bit hard time finding more clients. And what I could tell you, Thomas, is like, be patient, brother. Like I was talking to, like I said earlier, fall in love with the process. I know it's a headache. I know you're kind of stressed out finding new clients, and some of them don't hire you, but be patient. I know you have the great mindset, because I see the stuff that you post. I know that you're a person that has very big goals. I don't know what your life looks like, because I don't know too much about you, but as long as you're doing the things that you have to do, you're going to get exactly where you want to get. Forget about the stress. Forget about everything. Just focus on winning every single day. And just like that, I forgot who said this, but if you win a day, right, you got to focus on, if you win enough days, you win enough weeks. And if you win enough weeks, you win enough months. And if you win enough months, you win enough years. And you're going to get exactly where you're going to get just by winning. Just focus on the winning. Focus on winning, brother.
Yeah.
But, you know,
And being disciplined and being determined. You
Yeah.
have to be determined. You have to be disciplined.
yeah.
And the only option is success. You know, even though you might fail, the only option at the end of the road is going to be success. And that all it really depends on yourself and your mentality that you have. And it's not for the weak. You have to be strong. And the strongest people are the people that make it.
And failure is a big part of this whole journey. Failure is very big, so don't be scared to fail,
Don't be scared to fail.
right? That's number 4, bro, right there.
Yeah.
To be honest,
I
Boom.
think that was a great point. I think
Yeah.
as young entrepreneurs, it's important to talk these things because most people don't talk about, you know, failure. Most people don't talk about, all they want to talk about is success. I made this. I made
Yeah.
that. I made this. But they don't talk about, oh, I failed in this. I messed up this. This was super embarrassing when I went through this. And it happens, you know, like right now, I'm trying to grow my page and we're trying to grow the focus page. Some of the videos that we might post might be a little embarrassing. Doesn't matter. We don't
Yeah.
care because it's going to be eventually, no one's going to remember those videos that we posted a year ago, 2 years ago. They're going to remember all the videos that we're doing in the future that have hundreds of thousands of views, millions of views. And so you have to think long term. You have to think about, okay, this isn't going to pay out in the short term, but long term, it's going to be well worth it.
Yep. And learn from your mistakes. So right now we post our number one priority right now is being consistent.
Yeah.
Is what most people aren't. They're not consistent. But as we're being consistent, we're learning. Okay, this video didn't do good. What can we do in the next one? This didn't work out. What can we do in the next one? We've actually done that. We've done this with every single video. When it comes to our thumbnail, when it comes to our editing, the way that we introduce our podcast, like the introduction, the conclusion, every single video we're like, okay, this time we're gonna do it like this, or this time we're gonna do it like this. Oh, these topics aren't doing good. We gotta talk about these types of topics.
Yeah.
So consistently learning from your mistakes and improving as you're being consistent with what you're doing every single day, you'll get to where you want to be.
I believe I heard somebody say this earlier today. I believe I heard say, your failures are temporary, but your legacy is forever.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
no one's going to, as long as you have a legacy in the future, no one's going to remember your failures. And I think it's super important that you stick to that. And, you know, stick to your word. If you're going to tell yourself, I'm going to do this every single day, do it. Don't lie to yourself. The last person you should lie to yourself is yourself.
Yeah,
The last
don't-
person you should lie to is yourself. And don't lie to yourself. Be honest with yourself. Be truthful with yourself. And, you know, don't underestimate things. You have to take things seriously if you want to succeed in the future.
No, absolutely not. If you're starting a business, and if you're starting a business, you don't know what to do. Always work on yourself. Go to the gym, eat healthy. Whenever you feel like you don't know what to do, go to the gym, eat healthy, do something that's going to improve you. Clean your room, start reading books, improve yourself. That slowly opportunities will come to you. This is just how the universe works. Have you ever heard of the universal law? I even forgot how it is, but whatever you do now is what you're gonna get back in return. So
Yeah.
what's it called? There was a law. Damn it, I'm not very big
The law
on
of
this.
attraction, or was it?
The law of attraction.
I've
For
heard
whatever
that,
you
yeah.
do,
Yeah, whatever you do right now is eventually going to pay off in the future.
Yep.
Even if it's little things like
every single little thing, bro.
you know, smiling at someone, holding the door for somebody. And people also call the law of attraction karma, and I think it's very true.
Yeah.
If you're
Yes.
nice towards people,
Yeah.
if you're positive towards people, that's eventually going to pay off in your life.
And it
I
could
think-
go-
I think that's very relatable because I see people that are very negative towards other people and really are assholes, and not to say any other word. And you know, at the end of the day, it pays off. And that's
I was
what
just
they
gonna
get.
say that
That's what they get.
It works both ways.
Yeah.
Whatever. If you do negative things, you're gonna get negative things. If you do positive things, you're only gonna get positive things.
Yeah. And so I love that. I think this is a great message for young entrepreneurs or even older entrepreneurs. This is a
Yeah.
message for everybody that if you want to succeed, you have to go through these steps. You have to go through these failures, and eventually it'll pay off.
Well, with that being said, guys, I don't want to hold you guys too much of your time. It's been a while. We've been
Yeah.
here for for a while now. But thank you guys if you've made it this far into the podcast. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. We're going to be consistent with or without you. If you're watching
Yeah.
this or without you, we're going to be here regardless. We know that one day we're going to get to where we want to be. But stay focused, guys.
Stay focused,
Stay focused.
you guys.
That's the name of the podcast, right? Stay focused in your journey. You're going to get to where you want to be.
Eventually.
Yeah. Like, subscribe, share. We'll see you on the next one, guys.
Thank you guys. All right.
Peace.